Good afternoon and welcome to our second session of the Luxembourg Private Equity and Venture Capital Stories. Today's guest is Jérôme Wittamer. He is a founder and managing partner of Expon Capital, has also very important roles within the association. He was a former chairman of the LPEA and he's also a very active ExCom member. Just before we start, as usual, you know the drill. You can ask your questions via the chat function or the Q&A button. So then let's deep dive into it. Hello, Jerome. How are you?
Hello, Stephane. I'm fine. Thank you. And great to be here and sharing some insightful stories, hopefully, about VC with you.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. So then let's start. Expon Capital, Jerome, what can you tell us about your company? Who, when, and why?
All right. Well, it all started in 2015. And we were working together with my partners, Alain and Marc. We had a pretty significant background in venture before. Alain had been a VC since 1998. He had 6 IPOs under his belt. I had, be on both sides of the business as an entrepreneur and then as an investor since 2000. And my other partner, Marc, had been an entrepreneur, and he had been a public equity investor in an asset management firm. And so then came Rodrigo. He had been a business angel. He's super well connected around the world. And at some point, he came across opportunities like, he met with Daniel Ek, the founder of Spotify, and Daniel invited him to, invest in the round in Spotify. But Rodrigo was running out of money. So he thought at one point, okay, well, I'm seeing those great opportunities and I need to raise a fund. So it was pretty obvious. We wanted to, pull our forces together. And that's how we decided to create Expon Capital. And it's, in the summer of 15, it came together pretty naturally. And we crafted the strategy over that period. We were very lucky in finding a very good and very strong patron at the time, which is Nicholas Buck, the trailblazing Luxembourg entrepreneur. He really believed in us when he heard what we wanted to do. He challenged us. He supported us really a lot, and then he even hosted us for a while in his offices. And he was the first investor in our firm.
Wow, really a great team and also a good story. What can you tell us about your core philosophy and your USP of Expon?
All right. Well, creating this this company was really a big opportunity to, like, any writer, writing a book, you have a blank page. And this is an opportunity to put yourself into the strategy of the firm. So what we do in a nutshell is back entrepreneurs that have a huge ambition, but want to do it in a way that is ethical and sustainable. So because we saw that, we're investors in technology, and we're not naive. We don't do it because it's cool and sexy to invest in technology. We do it because of, it makes money. It makes a ton of money. But we also are not purely, blind to what technology does, the impact it has on society, the impact it has on the environment. And so we thought, okay, look at what we do. We have a responsibility to invest in a way that takes all these impacts into considerations. We wanted to create a strategy that really resonated with these values, right? So, and we even, we drafted a manifesto that's available on our website still today. Happy to for our audience to look it up.
I had the opportunity and chance to attend one of your sessions in the past, and you spoke about that manifesto. Also very impressive.
Thank you.
You mentioned also the tech space, which is of high interest for you. Any specific subsectors you would like to highlight?
Well, we're not a sector-specific firm. We're agnostic in terms of that. What we do is look at opportunities around the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. If you look at those 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they offer multi-trillion, euro opportunities for the world to address. And so for us, this is big enough to, to have as a theme to deploy money. Above and beyond that, what we'll look for is, platform businesses with a lot of optionality. We like those firms because they really are the firms that have proven that they can scale quite massively and become multi-billion euro businesses. But typically what we look at is companies that have very good, unit metrics, that have a very seasoned entrepreneur, if possible, that have shown that they have an ability to execute. So that's the sort of prism through which we see investments.
And within those fantastic companies you have spotted, any memorable deals or anecdotes you would like to share with our audience?
Oh, anecdotes. Well, there's a lot of anecdotes I could be sharing with you. Maybe one of them I'm thinking about right now is we were fundraising a few years ago with Rodrigo, and we were in Hong Kong, and Hurricane Mangkhut starts approaching the city of Hong Kong. And for those who may not remember, Hurricane Mangkhut has been the largest hurricane on record in the region and also around the world. So extremely powerful winds, and we were locked up in our bedrooms and at the top of a skyscraper in Hong Kong. And I can tell you the building was swinging really strongly. So, I mean, I talked to Rodrigo, I told him, I'm seasick. And he said, well, come on. I said, yeah, I'm really seasick. And I even FaceTimed my family at the time to show them my shirts in the dressing room, and the shirts were really swinging from left to right. So pretty crazy story. And we even went out and defined the prohibition to go outside on the evening of the passage of the hurricane. And we really did a gymkhana throughout the city, crawling and then jumping around, debris, shattered glass, and there were, trees all over the place in the center of Hong Kong. So a really crazy thing just to go and meet with a Taiwanese billionaire. So that's one, let's say, anecdote. Other ones, what can I say? A funny one, maybe not that funny, is when we were a few years ago with my partner Alain in San Francisco. We had invited a long-time friend of his, entrepreneur Eric Hautemont, a highly successful entrepreneur in the Valley. And we discussed, passions around a nice bottle of wine. And he told us, I'm really interested in space. I invested in this company and so on. And we told him, we're here in San Francisco, but also in the context of, the Luxembourg Space Resources Program that Etienne Schneider launched. And he said, okay, well, that's interesting. And fast forward a few months, and Eric calls us and he said, well, that company I invested in, Spire, they're raising a new round. Would you be interested? They're really interested in knowing more about what is happening in Luxembourg. And that's, how it happened. And now Peter Platzer, the CEO and founder of Spire, and a number of his teammates are based here in Luxembourg. So yeah, serendipity.
Great stories, and thanks for sharing those nitty-gritty details. We were nearly with you, understanding what happened at that moment and the experience.
It was fun.
Next to Expon Capital, you also manage other mandates, like, for example, the Digital Tech Fund. Where do you stand there right now?
So the Digital Tech Fund is an impact fund. It's impact first and profit second. I think that the fund itself is now in its 4.5 year. We made 9 investments so far. We'd like to make 5 more this year. It's shown some very nice resilience. There's been no casualties so far. We had expected, just like in pretty much any venture portfolio, at least 50% of casualties, and there's been none. Of course, we would expect that this won't last. I would not be surprised to have some failures. That's just part of natural cycle. But we haven't seen any so far, so we're knock on wood, this works well. Actually, some of us, those firms have seen tremendous growth. I'm thinking right now about SalonKey. SalonKey has had a really amazing run. They're present in 3 countries now. They're raising actually a big round right now. And a number of the firms, I think 4 or 5 firms in the portfolio, so out of the 9, have already raised pretty significant up rounds at nice valuations with foreign venture capital funds. So all in all, we're very satisfied and very positively surprised about the development of the digital tech fund.
Well done, and congratulations again. And SalonKey, I used the app.
Yeah,
and very happy
it's
about
good. Oh, it's good. Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, and hairdressers and beauty salons love it. Yeah, they love it. I mean, in terms of, if you see the sort of impact it has, after a lockdown, you typically have a cold start. So hairdressers, for about a day or 2 at least, they just keep on taking the phone before SalonKey to arrange for meetings. And now, actually, the day a lockdown ends, at 8 a.m. if they open at 8 a.m., it's there's already a line of people that have their rendezvous, and they're in business. So there's no more cold start, and they're back into their generating revenue immediately. Very so efficient. it pays. SalonKey pays back immediately. That's what it does. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the hairdresser, for example, can focus on his main tasks.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
We know that it's also very important for you to help out the ecosystem, have close contacts with founders, entrepreneurs. Any recommendations you would like to share with them?
With entrepreneurs, well, I think that one of the main thing they can do is not wait. When they have an idea, you hear a lot of people, they say, okay, I have this idea, but I need to, work on it. And okay, it's fine, work a little bit on it. But then if you're really serious about it, just, do it, go for it. Let's not wait 6 months or a year. No, just do it. And that is the very big difference that we talk about, during LPEA Academy or at Sacred Heart or House of Finance. It's that most people have ideas, right? But the difference between entrepreneurs and the others is that the entrepreneurs, they jump ship, right? They leave their jobs and they go about doing their company.
Execution.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Great hint.
So that's one thing. Another one is understanding your business model. I think a lot of young entrepreneurs still don't understand how they're going to generate revenues, how they're going to make profits. They think it's okay, it's in the long run. Well, actually, it's not in the long run. You need to think about this in the beginning, at the onset. Another thing is that we see is lacking in most cases is entrepreneurs are not well prepared enough when they go and talk to VCs. When you going to talk to VCs needs to be prepared. You need to know and understand who you're talking to. So prepare yourself. Another one is to have an ambition. When you're thinking about doing something, just don't settle for something small. Don't settle for, I won't say mediocre, but it's absolutely free to dream big. So go and dream big and try and set your sights at a whole different level, right? So that's what I would say.
We love the exponential part of the story too. You also find connoisseur of the Luxembourg ecosystem and infrastructure. How do you see it right now?
Right. So I think it's matured a lot. I'm talking about the startup and venture ecosystem in Luxembourg. We've come a long way. I've been active in that segment for 20 years here in Luxembourg. I think that we've seen an acceleration over the last 5 years, really in terms of what is being done, both by public actors and the private actors. I think that what the Ministry of Economy has been doing with the Fit for Start is a resounding success. I think that what Lux Innovation has been doing under the leadership of Sacha Bailey is absolutely fabulous. And without them, I think the ecosystem would not be what it is today. So I think we have to celebrate that. But at the same time, I think we have to realize that the glass is actually half full. We have a regulatory framework, and I mean a tax framework, that is the only one in Europe that doesn't have a tax incentive for investing in startups. We're the only one in Europe. I mean, for me, it's just something I cannot understand, right? Especially when we're serious about creating the right conditions for understanding, I mean, for setting the stage and creating a really resilient startup ecosystem. So I think that, you know, in the words of Charlie Munger, you know, the partner of Warren Buffett, show me the incentive and I show you the outcome. So there's no reason to be surprised by where the money is going into real estate, right? And it's not going into startups for that reason. So I think we still have a lot to do. Another thing is probably, you know, the cost of living for the kinds of people, the kinds of population which are young graduates. They are the ones that will help transform the Luxembourg economy into tomorrow's economy. We need those kinds of people, and they cannot afford the kinds of rent that we have in the city and in the country, honestly. So we need to be serious about that. Another thing is about, you know, the expertise that we have in the population. I think that there's been a great step forward in terms of education and bringing coding to high schools now since this year. I think we need to be more ambitious about that. We need to have the ambition to create, you know, 10,000 kids that actually graduate and have, let's say, a very good level of coding skills. Imagine the transformative effect on the Luxembourg economy this could have. At, you know, 10,000 is not a lot, but at Luxembourg scale, that is significant. Imagine what it means over a period of 5 years, about, you know, over a period of 10 years. You can truly transform the Luxembourg economy. So yeah, I think these are, you know, potential areas where the government could go.
Thanks for your insights, Jerome, because, I mean, you're also an active partner of our VC club, and such subjects are discussed there, also of our think tank of the association. So we will take good notes of those elements. And also for the coding part, I'm myself with some friends trying to help and push that too, thanks to Code Club Luxembourg. And so we go to even the elementary schools, and there we try to teach them Scratch and other interesting skills.
Good thing.
That's an excellent transition then to the second part of our interview, the more now personal part.
Okay.
So, Jerome, could you also explain to our audience, what did you study and how did you, or where did you start your professional career?
Okay. Well, I studied law, economics, and management, and
it's a good mix.
It's a good mix, and then I started as an international tax consultant here in Gasperich at the Cloche d'Or at Coopers & Lybrand back in 1995. Yesterday, right? Yeah, that's. I don't know if you want to know more.
No, but it's a good start already. And next to that, how did you then enter the specific VC field? How was that made possible?
All right. Well, the VC was really a natural process. I started investing in VC and started investing full stop in 1990. And I came across my first startup in the early 90s, became an entrepreneur. And at some point that was after my MBA, back in 2001, I had my first entrepreneurial experience, and I joined BIP Investment Partners. And that's where I really started to, let's say, hone my investment skills in the private sector. And I really was, privileged to have a very good freedom of action and the ability to choose the kinds of targets that, or where I believed there would be a lot of potential. And I think they've been happy. The track record spoke for itself. So that was really the onset of it. It's been, for me, it's really I often joke, a schizophrenic journey, because I started as an investor, and then an entrepreneur, and then an investor again at BIP Investment Partners, and then I left to become an entrepreneur again, only to become an investor again. So it's been like that, all in all, really not knowing, okay, where do I belong, right? Am I an entrepreneur that goes about doing a startup with a very specific focus project, or am I an investor? And the answer is very clear, because now I chose with Expon Capital. But what I love about what I do is the sheer diversity of opportunities, the subjects that we see, the number of people that we see. And honestly, I've easily felt bored in a company setting, because it's just after about a year and a half, 2 years, it's difficult to see the same sort of diversity and stimulation that you get in venture.
We also love that entrepreneurial spirit and also that creativity and agility which we can deploy there.
Thank you.
As we said, you're an active ExCo member. You're in many technical committees involved. You also, with Expon Capital, are proposing the VC foundation courses for the LPEA Training Academy. You mentioned Sacred Heart University, where you are also one of the professors. You're also doing the House of Training, Young Entrepreneur, and you're also one of the ambassadors, if I understood well. So why all this involvement? What do you want to achieve? I mean, you highlighted a few elements, but could you give us more details?
Yeah, it's true that I've been involved in the community for a long time. For me, it's a question of leadership, and a lot of people talk the talk, and I think that when you really strongly believe in something, you have to walk the talk. A lot of people are cynical, and I think too many people are cynical about that. I think that if you really want to share something, to share learnings, experience, you have to be serious about transmitting that over to younger generations, and that means going to where the needs are, right? And that means going to schools and volunteering to go to schools early in the morning, often in the winter, actually. To go and share things that you've learned with younger generations. So I think that's really what's driven me. Yeah, inspiring others, and the probably also a certain taste and passion for transmitting the knowledge that I have acquired. I'm always frustrated to see that I have accumulated all this knowledge and that it's sort of closed in my head, and it would be useful for others. So that's always a small opportunities to do it, right?
In open economies, I think sharing is very important, and we like that idea. Yeah. And we also like to participate to the Young Entrepreneur, be it the Job Shadow Day this year, then potentially virtual, and also the coaching classes. There, I think, as you mentioned before, to push those young stars also directly to inspire them is a good thing to do.
Yes, I mean, that's a very good point. I was discussing just a few days ago with a person about actually the young entrepreneur, Luxembourg. when you see what alumni are saying, and I think that that Salonki, they're not only alumni of Fit for Start. I wonder if they're not even alumni of the Shell. It's when you talk to them and what those programs have had, what sort of impact they've had on these kids, you realize they have been transformative. We have truly changed lives. We truly have showed them a new path, a new road. So it's not only about working for the state or working for a corporate. There is another life out there. You can control your destiny. You can go out there and do what you want. Put your ideas into more than words, but do it.
Superb values, leading by example and inspiring. Yeah.
I think it's the only way.
Absolutely. That's also, again, nicely leading to the next question. Did any specific leader or example inspire you when you were younger, recently, whenever?
I think we're all, who we are is very much defined not only by our parents, but I think also by the people who have influenced us through, the readings or, the movies that we have seen and certain lines that have resonated specifically with us. For me, it's as a kid, clearly as a teenage kid, Dostoevsky, give me a taste for how literature could be, what family meant. Totally different. Ray Kurzweil in the 90s has shown me that what technology could become. He's coined the term the law of accelerated return. So all these exponential sort of framework comes actually from him spiritually. Yeah, absolutely amazing person. And the last one would be, I think, Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize in Physics for the invention of quantum electrodynamics. Any person that has read his books or seen him on TV or met him will be able to testify that was a person that was larger than life. Very often you have geniuses and they're like introvert, and he was a womanizer. He was good at sports. He was good socially. He was cracking jokes all the time. So, and at the same time, he was a philosopher too. So kind of, for me, really, a role model of what, a person could become or could, let's say, dream to become one day.
So it's a real superstars and who should be part of the Hall of Fame then.
Oh yeah, well, for him, there's no doubt. Yeah.
Dear audience, we are approaching the last questions. If you would like to ask, now is the time, a question to Jerome, please use the chat function. That would be the best. And Jerome, we're very inspired today. Any great book, TV series, podcast, anything you would like to share with our audience, or again, as an inspirational?
So I think, I don't know if there's many of you on the other side of the screen that know me, but for those who do, I'm a bookworm, hence the glasses. I think that there's one book that sort of, it doesn't define me, but it's very similar to my train of thought. It's and you all know that book, it's Sapiens by Yuval Harari. For those who haven't read the book, I think it's just a must book. It's one of those books that are timeless, I would say. I like the fact that he takes the perspective of a non-human, in a way, an alien, looking at the planet and all the social fabric, and disarticulates it, and in order to extract the real meaning of things. Ultimately, I think he demonstrates that pretty much everything we've created is a fiction, and that's what humans are. We create meaning around symbolic things. I think this was is a book that really resonated a lot with me. Another one maybe it's that I really, it's on my bedside table, and I won't look like a nerd talking about that, but it's Carlo Novelli's 7 Lessons in Physics. It's a very small book. It's a New York Times bestseller. I think it's been there for a long time. You can read it with kids. You can read it as an adult. It's very easy to read. And it really, again, it's one of those books that gives perspectives on things and who we are.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. It was
welcome.
Very nice session. Thanks for sharing, and
Thank
happy
you.
to see you soon again.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think the story is not over, and you will have nice surprises from the LPEA soon.
I hope.
And here, the audience then also thanks for joining us today, and just wanted to highlight then some of the next events. The first one being then with the Spanish ASCRI Association about the recovery plan. And then we will have also then a PropTech webinar, also in March, and certainly our favorite academy, which will start next Monday with then the first programs, as you can see, Venture Capital. It was a pleasure to have you today, and we hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.